All right, it's 6:30 and we have a quorum, so we'll call to order the Moore City Council meeting scheduled for February 17th, 2026 at 6:30. Would you call the roll, please?
Kathy Griffith. Here. Sid Porter.
Here.
Melissa Hunt. Louis Williams.
Here.
Adam Webb.
Here.
Rob Clark.
Here.
Mark Ham.
Here. Would you please stand for a pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 2 is our consent docket.
Make a motion to approve the consent docket, items A through C.
Second.
We've had the motion and second. Would you call the vote, please?
Kathy Griffith.
Yes.
Sid Porter.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Rob Clark.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes. Item carries. Item 3, consider the final plat for the I-35 Commerce Center located in the northwest quarter of Section 2, Township 10, Range 3 West, being north of Northeast 27th Street and east of I-35. Application by Scannell Properties, LLC. The Planning Commission recommended approval 8-0, and this is in Ward 2.
Mayor and Council, this property is located north of Northeast 27th Street and east of I-35. It lies just south of our city limits. The property was rezoned as part of a larger tract in November of 2023 to light industrial as a planned unit development. It did include commercial uses along I-35 and light industrial uses along Pole Road. The applicant is proposing to develop the light industrial tract into 2 lots. The east lot will be developed with a warehousing and distribution center, and the west lot will be developed in the future to meet all the PUD requirements, but there's no identified user yet. To prepare for this site for development, a final plat is required. Public water and sewer are available to serve the site. They are located south of the subject site along Pole Road. Water and sewer will be extended to serve the site. The site includes an unstudied floodplain on the west side. The project will study this floodplain to establish boundaries and a base flood elevations. All city and FEMA requirements for development within a floodplain are required, and this does include a 30-foot drainage easement from top of bank within the floodplain. Access to the subject property is provided by both I-35 Service Road and Pole Road. As part of the proposed development, the applicant will be constructing an industrial collector road along the north side of the property that will provide a direct connection from Pole Road to the I-35 Service Road. Additionally, during the rezoning application consideration in 2023, a traffic impact analysis confirmed an increase in truck traffic along Pole Road and 27th Street that degraded the level of service at this intersection. To mitigate this issue, Pole Road will be reconstructed to a collector street for industrial traffic, and a signal light at Pole Road and 27th will be installed, along with protected left-hand turn bays. The approved PUD for this site includes the following amenities that apply to the light industrial tract. A minimum of 70% masonry or architectural metal facade is required. The required landscaping amounts shall exceed city code by 15%. All outdoor storage, including semi-trailers, shall be screened from I-35 by a 6 to 8 foot berm or masonry wall. Outdoor storage is limited to 20 feet in height and shall be set back 20 feet from all PUD boundary lines. And all dumpsters shall be located in an area screened from public streets with a fence or masonry wall enclosure. The Envision More 2040 plan calls for this location to be light industrial. These uses are characterized by heavy commercial, office, warehouse, and flex uses, and should incorporate buffering techniques to reduce the potential land use conflicts. This application was reviewed as to its conformance with the intent of the plan, and due to the PUD requirements, this application does meet many of the aesthetic and transportation goals of the comprehensive plan. An amendment is not necessary. Staff recommends approval of the final plat. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Make a motion to approve?
Second?
We've had the motion and second. You can call the vote, please.
Sid Porter,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Rob Clark,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes. Item passes. Item 4 is consider approval of the 2026 street sign standards for use on public and private roads.
Mayor and council, over the years, street signs with different fonts, different font size, and different city seals have been used. This results in a city that's haphazardly branded throughout the city. It also causes confusion and sometimes safety considerations when the font size is too small. Additionally, we have had no standards for private roads in the past, which has led to confusion on who owns the roads. In those cases where the city might put up a city road sign. And in some cases on private roads, unsafe situations have been created when signs are put up by the developer on private roads that are not easily legible. They might be in script or just a very small font size. These standards in front of you include public signs, which would be at the typical blue with the white lettering and a full color city seal, as well as private signs, which we are proposing as a black background with white lettering with a gray-toned city seal. It also includes an option for a new illuminated or backlit arterial road sign. These are the new road signs that are being installed in other communities. It does enhance the safety consideration on those roadways. And so this would include a standard for that kind of sign as well. We're asking the council to adopt the sign standards tonight so that the city can begin to use them on all new signage as our new developments come online and when existing street signs need to be replaced through damage to the street sign or fading of the street sign. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Tell me one more time about the color scheme.
Yes, so the city signs are just like today. We have a certain blue background with white lettering. And it would be a full color city seal. So just like we see it today.
And you're controlling the font type and font size?
Yes, the
Okay.
font type and the font size was what would be standard, which are not standard today. On private roadway signs, we would have a black background
Okay.
with white lettering, and then the city seal would be a grayscale seal.
Okay.
And that's what would differentiate that between the public and the private.
Okay.
The font size regulated on the private also?
Yes. That would be the same requirement as it is on the city side or the public side. And that's just, for obvious reasons, it's very important for emergency vehicles to access the road and whatnot.
So the size of the signs on the private road would match the same size of the
That's
sign?
correct.
Okay, all right, very good, thank you. I make a motion, we approve.
Second?
All right. No more further comments. We have the motion and the second. Would you call the vote?
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Rob Clark,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Sid Porter,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes. Item passes. Item 5, consider approval of the most responsive firms for RFQ number 2026-005 for landscaping abatement services for the city of Moore.
Mayor and council, just as an update to our landscaping project, this project has been underway for about 2 years now. During this time, the city staff inspected 259 commercial and industrial properties. That initial inspection took place in October of 2024. 148 properties were found to be in violation of the city's landscaping regulations. Of those 148 properties, 21 were granted deferred compliance due to ongoing or imminent construction projects that were planned or ongoing in front of the business. After 2 separate notices, the first being October of 2024 and then another in July of 2025, we did send out an official code violation notice in November of 2025. Since that notice, we've had 63 businesses come into voluntary compliance. They planted approximately 150 trees and almost 300 shrubs. 64 properties are still in violation of the city's landscaping regulations, which is what brings me to tonight's item. To begin the abatement process, we need to select landscaping contractors. We did receive 8 responses from our solicitation that we put out. City staff interviewed and/or went and actually saw the operations of all 8. 4 companies stood out for their past experience, their available equipment, and the responsiveness to our interview. Staff recommends selecting Tusnua Lawn and Landscape LLC, Extreme Tree Service and Removal LLC, F&M Native Environment of Oklahoma LLC, and Green Shade Tree LLC to provide our landscaping abatement services. What typically happens when we have projects such as this, like our code enforcement abatement contract, usually 1 or 2 of these will fall off simply because it wasn't as they expected or something else might happen. So we do feel it's important to get more than 2 or 3 under contract just for that possibility.
So what does this contract look like?
So the contract actually is very similar to our abatement, our code enforcement abatement contract. So the contract that they responded to, or the request for response, we have identified the type of medium or large and medium trees, small trees and shrubs that will be allowed to be planted. And these are appropriate for the area. They're on our approved planting list. And we actually put out the amounts that we would be willing to pay for them to plant these trees, to acquire and plant the trees. So all of the responses that we received agreed to our price. We came up with that price by reaching out to 3 well-known nurseries in the area and asking them what a private client would pay for planting these trees with these specifications. And we just took an average of the 3.
Okay. But there's no guarantee that you're going to get 10 or 20 or anything like that?
That's correct.
Okay.
What we are anticipate doing is city staff will come up with a landscaping plan for each property, just by sketching on an aerial photo. They will then call Oki to get the line spotted, and then the company will go out on site and make sure that the plan that has been developed can actually work within the site with the lines spotted. And then at that point, once that's resolved, they will start planting. Okay. And then immediately upon completion of the planting, they would give us their ticket, and then we would then charge the water bill for payment.
Okay.
Very good.
All right, very good.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, we've had the motion and second. Would you call the vote, please?
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Rob Clark,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Sid Porter,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item passes. Thank you, Elizabeth. Item 6, receive a presentation from Dennis Bothwell, Public Works Director, regarding a proposed multi-year administrative vehicle leasing program with Enterprise for leasing of 5 vehicles in year 1, up to a total of 72 vehicles by year 5.
Mayor and council, Mr. Mitchell asked me a while back to take a look and find a solution to provide a cost-effective way to sustain the replacement of our fleet of vehicles. In the future, with the cost of vehicles continuing to increase at a rate that is unsustainable, this program could be a solution for that, and I thought I'd bring it to you and get you updated on how we can proceed with that. I have John Holland here from Enterprise. He can answer any of the questions that I can't. I think I can answer most of them. I got a little backup. Currently, we have about 72 administrative fleet vehicles in the city. It's getting harder and harder to sustain replacement cycles because of the costs of those vehicles. In years past, $21,000 would be reasonable for a pickup truck. Today, it's over 40-some thousand. So with that in mind, we've got to come up with ways to replace vehicles that's smart. And by doing that, I'm going to show you how we can do that and maybe get more return on our vehicles in the future.
And just real quick, administrative vehicles, so we're just talking cars and pickups?
We're talking cars, pickups, everything about that size. Yeah, it's like so administrative vehicles are like parks and rec vehicles, pickups that are used to tow around our mowers and all that.
You get into the 1 tons?
Yes,
Okay.
1-ton F-250s, F-550s,
Okay.
F-600s. We can do, this program can handle all of those. Our sanitation trucks, they just don't do that kind of business, so we're still handling that.
Okay.
Community development, inspection services, all those folks use these vehicles. So right now, with that 72,000, the total fleet value is about $1.2 million. It adds up really quick. And our average holding period in years is about 12.2 years. So as they get older, we get less for them when we sell them at auction, $200, $300, $400 for selling them, which isn't a very good return, but they're pretty beat up by the time we get rid of them or move them. With that in mind, some of the key observations of our fleet is there are 32 vehicles that predate standardization of backup cameras. And this is some safety standards in here. By implementing some of these safety equipment on the vehicles, they've reduced 50% of front to rear crashes with injuries, claims, and rates. That's some data for you to look at in your free time. But by buying newer equipment, it's got safety features on it that will help us maintain more safety in the future, like cameras and that type of stuff. We have 23 vehicles that predate rear automatic braking. We have 14 vehicles that predate electronic stability control systems, that's rollover stuff. And we have 4 vehicles that predate anti-lock brake systems altogether. And you all know the safety that you get from anti-lock braking systems. The effective vehicle life cycle is determining. So Enterprise has a team that will help us determine the right time to replace vehicles, taking into account maintenance costs, depreciation costs, and new vehicle costs versus expected sale returns or return on sales. So when we sell a vehicle that has low mileage, we can expect a lot of, like 31,000 versus the 200 and 300 we're getting now, and then we can reinvest that money on the new vehicle in the future. So the long-term government partnership with Enterprise, they have about 2,500 government clients. They have client strategy managers that help provide us with good data to determine when we should replace things. They have 60 local offices providing hands-on support, and they have 175,000 managed vehicles right now. 40 government clients in Oklahoma right now. So a lot of city governments and municipalities have realized that this is the way to go in the future. Currently, they have, for instance, more public schools is using these folks. OU, Oklahoma State University, Stillwater. So there's municipalities using it, so it must be good, right? With that, they have a cooperative purchasing partnerships with Sourcewell. We use Sourcewell for a lot of different contracts, so we don't have to go out and bids. We're guaranteed outcomes for the future. We've used TIPS as well, so they're members of both of those, and we can piggyback on those contracts to get started with the program. One of the comprehensive offerings, so we can focus on our objectives, is their acquisition costs. They can go out and get pricing at values that we can't get. So they use their purchasing, and I'll show you that here in a moment, that will help us get the most bang for our buck in the future. Financial credit lines, aftermarket vehicle customization. So we need a half-ton pickup with a bed on the back of it with a tunnel cover. They will go out and find the best place to get those, and that also goes into the cost of the vehicle, and that's spread over years for repaying that. And then vehicle resale is one of the big things that will really help us here. So they do factory ordering, infrastructure on stock, and the incentive strategy, order timing, and aftermarket process and the logistics. This chart shows that in last year alone, Enterprise Fleet managed over $96 million in manufacturers' incentives that we just can't get when we go out to purchase. We go off a state contract. State contract is not always at our advantage, but we've used those in years. This, I think, I've looked at it over years. I've purchased vehicles for fleets for years. This is a pretty good deal. It's about $5,800 average order savings for us on each vehicle that we purchase for the pickups. I'm just using pickups as the field. With that, there is flexible financing options, which open-end lease benefits, optimizes cash flow and flexibility funding options, unlimited mileage, no mileage penalties, no abnormal wear and tear clauses, greater flexibility if requirements change, and flexibility of terms. City retains the equity of the vehicle at the end of the lease period. So the vehicle becomes ours, and if we want to go another 5 years with it, that's fine, but you got to understand when you do that, you're going to lose the resale value by putting more miles and the age on the vehicles. This is one of the key things that I really picked up on. I had my questions about this program in years past, but what I like about it is the remarketing by the numbers stuff. When we go to remarket these vehicles, they have 150 remarketing lots in North America. They have 12,000 unique buyers. They have 471 dedicated marketing employees. That's all they do is sell our vehicles when it comes up time to get rid of them and buy new. So 126,000 plus vehicles were sold by Enterprise in 2024 at an average of 110% above Black Book value. Right now, we're lucky to even get anywhere close to when we go to our auctions. We're just not getting the return on our investment. With that, competitive advantages, the biggest competitive advantage is that Enterprise expertly manages its own fleet of 2.2 million vehicles. That's quite a bit. They've got some history with vehicles. Gain an entire team of experts to develop and benchmark your fleet strategy. Multi-channel vehicle resale networks, consolidated reporting with state-of-the-art technology, ongoing industry expertise and annual financing reviews, and AFC industry exclusive to execute our fleet plan. So at the beginning and start looking at vehicles to replace and when the best time is to do that. With that, do you have any questions or anything?
So explain to me the process of how we handle an accident.
An accident, we
So
still,
is there, we're required to get it fixed, all,
our choice. We can get it fixed or go ahead and replace it. We'll file insurance claims, we're self-insured.
Right.
We'd make whatever determinations we are doing right now. If we have a vehicle in an accident, if it's our fault, we go out and get estimates and determine on whether it's repairable or whether it's totaled, or we turn around and send it to the junkyard or sell it to the, however we can for junk, so.
There's also the ability for us to help mitigate those claims. So if there was an opportunity for us to utilize our body shops that we use for 2.2 million vehicles,
okay,
there's quite a bit of savings there.
Okay.
With how many we run through a shop on a daily basis.
very good. So on the effective life cycle document that you had in there, and you got all the lines that merge and all that, does that slide back and forth depending upon the use of that vehicle? And, I mean, because not every vehicle depreciates at the same rate, and is that something that you review on a regular basis to determine when it's time, or how does that work?
So I usually tell an interesting story about the city of Little Rock during COVID years. We planned their fleet way before COVID happened, and so we had these vehicles on order, and so when they came in, although some of their vehicles were not needing to be replaced right then and there, we saw that the market had shifted, so yeah, that can slide definitely. We try to focus on the front end, purchasing vehicles that hold their value, so maybe it's a crew cab versus a regular cab, or an extended cab versus a regular cab, a 4x4 versus a 4x2.
Yeah.
Finding those areas that a vehicle can hold its value better
Right.
than some of the other ones. We're not married to any makes or manufacturers. Obviously, with the Ford shop that y'all have all the internal stuff, we'd like to stick with what you know. I think that's where we're at right now. It's
Yeah,
two main vehicles.
our mechanics are tooled for Ford.
So, having that opportunity to just look at it on an annual basis, and really, the client strategy manager that would be working throughout the tenure with this partnership would be looking at this pretty much on a quarterly basis, making sure we're in good spots, depreciating vehicles well, pinpointing anything that's really shot up in remarketing value, or telling you which ones that you may need to hold on to a little longer.
Okay, so the $6,000 question, how does Enterprise make money in this whole scope? If we're retaining value and all that, and applying it to the next vehicle, how does Enterprise in this whole scope, how do you make money?
I'll give you a brief. So from an acquisition standpoint, with the economies of scale and how many that we're putting through the manufacturers, we'd like to order as many vehicles we possibly can from the manufacturer. We make our money mostly from the manufacturing. The funding, we do have a management fee, but when all things are considered, we typically can show a lowered operating cost by the reduction in cost of and the increased resale. So I make it off the manufacturer, a management fee,
Yep.
and if the funding option makes sense, we
Okay,
make it there.
the management fee is what I was looking for, thank you. I think that's all my questions.
And who provides the maintenance for the vehicles? We continue to do that?
Well, what's nice about new vehicles, for 5 years, they're under warranty, and for the most part, it's up to the manufacturer. We file claims for those. And by replacing the vehicles every 5 years, you're getting away with that. So you're replacing vehicles in a 5-year turnaround time. You take that money, and when you sell them, and turn that back in, so you buy a $41,000 truck, you get $31,000 when you sell it. Our next truck is funded with that, so we're, instead of $41,000, we're only paying $11,000, and that goes on for time. So, but hopefully by leveraging our resale values, by buying vehicles that sell really good in the future, we can turn around our vehicles in 5 years, keep our fleet up to date with the newest technology, the best fuel services. So there's a lot more to it than that, but it will help us save money, but they're going to make their money on their end with their sales of the vehicles and all that.
And I think I know the answer, but I want to ask, on police vehicles, is that separate?
That is separate.
Okay.
We do them though.
They do them, but we opted to start with this program to see how it's going to turn out for us.
That is an
We
option in the
didn't,
future.
yes, absolutely. We didn't want to jump in with both feet. Right, a little test first.
Sure.
So our, where we'll see the savings in this, will be a little bit down the road.
Well, yes, there's an initial startup cost, and that's going to cost a little bit, but I think we've selected about 4 or 5 vehicles we're ready to do now. But the first year's lease on those are going to be less than probably buying one of the vehicles.
Okay.
Well, I shouldn't say that. We got to look at the cost of the vehicles.
Sure.
For the same,
But we want to bring that back to you next time.
Yeah.
Kind of let you know what we're going to do.
for the same cost it would cost to replace one vehicle, we can typically do 2 or 3 vehicles for the same cost and lease cost. And then those 3 or 4 vehicles that we replace, the operating cost on the new vehicles is much less than the older ones that we're replacing. So there is some instant savings, but the way that we're designing this, we're building up to it rather than just all in at once and then
Sure.
your eggs are all in the same basket.
Yeah, okay. And so the plan then would be over the course of 5 years
Yes, sir.
to have all 72 of these vehicles rolled
Yes, sir.
into
That's
that
what we're
program?
looking at. When funds are available also. So that could have a lot to play.
So
in.
we're not on a calendar clock with y'all. If 5 years into this, we're only 40 cars into this, then that's okay.
Yeah, we're looking at 4 or 5 to start that are immediate needs that the city has to have
Okay.
ASAP.
All right.
And this, the leasing allows for them to get them without as much budget.
Sure.
Instead of having 300,000, you need
Yeah.
60,000, so. And then next year, we'll look on building.
Ramp
on
them
it,
up a
build
little
on
bit
it.
more.
Okay, so what I would like to see is a projected 5-year plan of what these numbers look like versus us going and buying these same vehicles over
Yes, sir.
5 years. I'd like to see that comparison,
Yes, sir.
please.
We'll get that for you.
Any other questions?
Just one, so I get it straight. The, so we will, plan, this will be something that we can determine how quickly we want to replace.
For the most part, yes, sir.
Okay.
And we will sit down with legal and work out all the, I wanted to give you a briefing of how the program works, and then we'll bring that back to you at a later date.
Okay.
But with that, any other questions?
If not, we just need a motion.
I don't think we need a motion. I think I just wanted to give you a
presentation,
briefing and
okay.
get any questions you may have, and then
Good call.
permission kind of to go forward and look for better things.
Okay?
Good call. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate
you
it.
coming.
Absolutely, thank you.
Item 7 is consider declaring items described in Exhibit A with a total estimated value of $11,685 as surplus and authorize the items to be auctioned off by Public Services utilizing Sourcewell contract number 102821-TPG.
Mayor and council, these are items that have outused their life cycle. Can't use them anymore. We beat them up and used them as much as we can, and we need to auction them to get them out of the inventory. Most of this stuff has been replaced because it's small item. But in order to sell them, we have to send them to auction, and I need your permission to do that.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We've had the motion and second. Would you call the vote?
Rob Clark,
Yes.
Kathy Griffin,
Yes.
Sid Porter,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate the work.
Item 8 is consider authorizing staff to solicit bids for the contracting of mowing and lawn maintenance with designated parks and parklands within the city.
Mayor and council, the budgeted approved work will consist of mowing and lawn maintenance services within designated parks and parklands within the city of Moore. The list of specific locations and maps associated with each location is attached to the RFP. The mowing season services provided shall be in effect from April 20th, 2026 through October 24th, 2026, with each property being on a bi-weekly schedule for a grand total of 14 services. This RFP is the same list of properties that we have had contracted out the past year. Recommend approval.
So bi-monthly, is that what you just said, every other week? Or
Bi-weekly.
bi-weekly? Okay.
Bi-weekly.
Every 2 weeks.
Sorry, excuse me. So, but when we have our rainy season and we're, sometimes my grass needs to be cut every 3 days, and I've witnessed areas of the city where we wait too long to mow, and then it's really burdensome and hard on equipment for whoever mows it next. In the event that we have heavy rains and we have a clearing, are we going to go ahead and just do that weekly? There's going to be that busy side because it's going to look raggedy if we wait 2 weeks. It's part
Well,
of the
they
year.
can't rain during the extreme rainy part,
Yeah.
so they wait until they can get into the area to mow it. So it usually evens out. As soon as they can get in there and not make ruts, then they will mow it. But it's sensitive as to the land and things like that.
There will be times we need to mow it weekly without it looking bad. So what are we going to do in those times?
We have them mow it.
Okay, so they may do it more often than
They
every other
adjust the
week.
schedule.
I just want to make sure. I had a mowing business all through college. Sometimes it's way more often than every other week.
Exactly.
So,
And
all right.
our inspectors keep an eye on that and make sure that they're keeping it at a certain level.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Okay. We just need a motion on this.
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
We've had the motion and the second. Would you call the vote?
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Sid Porter,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Rob Clark,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes. Item passes. Item 9 is consider approval of a contract with Norman Fence Company for the construction of a 6-foot fence at the Central Park Playground located at 700 South Broadway, and the total amount of $26,350 as the lowest and most responsible quote.
Mayor and council, this contract with the lowest bidder, the Norman Fence Company, is a budgeted approved project that includes installing a 6-foot tall aluminum Ameristar black fence around the perimeter of the existing playground on the north side of Central Park. There are continuously moving vehicles around the park and in the parking lot directly to the east of the playground area that causes safety concerns. This fence would enclose the playground, which would in turn provide enhanced child safety and peace of mind for patrons and supervisors. Recommend approval.
And this is the playground. I was asked about this item. That's the playground for everyone, I think is what they call it. Okay, all right.
And aluminum fence, is it solid sheets of aluminum? Will
No,
it be
it's similar to the black
Okay.
Oh, okay.
there
Gotcha.
already.
Gotcha.
Make a motion to approve?
Second?
Would you call the vote?
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Sid Porter,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Rob Clark,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item passes. Thank you. Item 10, consider authorizing the budgeted purchase of a Wi-Fi system to service city facilities from the Chickasha Telecom in the amount of $107,321.05, utilizing state contract number ITSW 1006.
Mayor and council, this is for a replacement Wi-Fi system to replace our current Wi-Fi. It's 10 years old, it's reached end of life, no longer receiving any security updates or available for any hardware upgrades.
So, and what all facilities does this cover?
This covers any city
Everything?
facility. We have it in every city facility, yes, sir.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Make a motion to approve?
Second?
I've had the motion and second. Would you call the vote?
Sid Porter,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Rob Clark,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes. Item passes. Item 11, consider approval of an agreement with Kimley Horn and Associates, Inc., in the amount of $98,200 for professional engineering services for the I-35 Commerce Center Public Utilities Project.
Mayor and council, earlier on item 3, you approved the final plat for 2 lots in this area north of 27th Street between Pole Road and I-35 Service Road. This particular project provides for the design of approximately 7,600 linear feet of water line and 3,700 feet of sewer line to serve future industries that come into this area. We chose Kimley Horn. They are actually they've done some surveying for the sites already for the 2 lots that you approved earlier, and so it just from an economy of scale and a timely manner, they'd be able to do the design quicker than someone starting fresh. So we would recommend approval of Kimley Horn to do the design of these 2 utilities, water and sewer, to serve this area.
Make a motion to approve?
Second?
Would you call the vote?
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Rob Clark.
Yes.
Kathy Griffith.
Yes.
Sid Porter.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item passes. Item 12, we'll need an amendment to this, but let me read it as it's printed in our agenda. Consider adopting resolution number 13126, approving a project plan and the creation of 1 or more tax increment districts under the Local Development Act to facilitate the development of an industrial distribution center on 30 acres of land located north of Northeast 27th Street and east of I-35.
I'd like to make a motion that we amend item 12 as follows. Remove the words approving a project plan and the creation of 1 or more tax increment districts, and replace it with the following words: declaring the intent to consider approval of a project plan in the future and establishing a statutory review committee in its place.
Okay, we need a second to the
Second.
amendment. Okay, we have that, so we're going to vote on this motion to make the amendment to the item.
That's second by Rob Clark.
Myself, yeah.
Thank you.
And you can call the vote?
Rob Clark.
Yes.
Kathy Griffith.
Yes.
Sid Porter.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes. Now I'm going to read the new item. Consider adopting resolution number 13126, declaring the intent to consider approval of a project plan in the future and establishing a statutory review committee under the Local Development Act to facilitate the development of an industrial distribution center on a 30-acre of land located north of Northeast 27th Street and east of I-35.
Mayor and Council, this is the first step in the process of creating a tax increment financing district. The purpose of this proposed TIF is to help facilitate the development of a 330,000 square foot distribution center in the north part of our city, so north of First Baptist Moore, north of Northeast 27th Street. We intend for this TIF district to serve as a catalyst for expanding employment in our area, attracting major investment in the area, and enhancing our tax base. Recommend approval.
Make a motion to approve?
Second?
All right, would you call the vote?
Kathy Griffith.
Yes.
Sid Porter.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Rob Clark.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes. Item carries. Item 13, consider approval of an annual software licensing fee with Smartphone Meter Reading LLC in the amount of $27,726.67 for meter reading software.
Mayor and Council, this is a continuation of an existing agreement that we have with SPMR to provide the utility reading software that Veolia uses when they read the utility meters. We needed to get a new subscription because there's been an item added, a validation bundle. We've increased the quantity from 4 to 6 units. So we had to make a change to the subscription agreement to include these new things so we can continue with an ongoing subscription. Recommend approval.
Okay. Make a motion to approve?
Second.
We've had the motion and second. You can call the vote.
Sid Porter.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Rob Clark.
Yes.
Kathy Griffith.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes. Item passes. At this time, we're going to recess the city council meeting and convene the Moore Public Works Authority meeting. Item 14 is the consent.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent docket, item A.
Second.
Would you call the vote, please?
Kathy Griffith.
Yes.
Sid Porter.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Rob Clark.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes. We'll now recess the Public Works Authority meeting and convene the Moore Risk Management meeting. Item 15 is the consent docket.
Make a motion to approve the consent docket, item A.
Second.
We have had the motion and second. Would you call the vote?
Sid Porter.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Rob Clark,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Yes, item passes. We're going to recess the Moore Risk Management meeting and convene the Moore Economic Development Authority meeting. This is normally Melissa. Hey, who's the secretary or the vice?
Kathy.
Assistant.
Kathy.
Kathy.
At this time, we will, let's see, recess the
call.
management meeting. Item A is
16, yeah.
Kathy Griffith,
here.
Sid Porter,
Here.
Mark Ham,
Here?
Louis Williams.
Here.
Adam Webb.
Here.
Rob Clark,
Here.
Melissa Hunt.
Item 17 is a consent docket.
Make a motion to approve the consent docket, item A.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Will you call for the vote?
Sid Porter,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Rob Clark,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith.
Yes, item carries. This time we'll recess the Moore Economic Development Authority meeting and reconvene City Council meeting.
All right, let the record show that all members that were present are still present. Item 18 is new business. Citizens Forum for items not on the agenda. We do have several signed up. Just as a reminder, I'll call your name and come on up and just give us your name and address, and you'll be given 5 minutes. First is Jasmine Marin.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. My name is Jasmina Marin. My address is 1813 Eagle Drive, zip code 73160 in Ward 3. I am here tonight representing my family and 3 households in my neighborhood who are being daily impacted by severe and persistent noise disturbance. I've lived with a 54-hour-a-week mechanical drone from this business behind our homes, and I am here because the city's previous response that nothing can be done based on a decibel meter does not address the reality of our situation. Under Section 10.414, a noise is a violation if it is plainly audible at 25 feet. This noise does not just meet that rule, it exceeds it. We hear it in our yards, we hear it in our driveways. It penetrates our walls and windows, meaning our homes are no longer a refuge. Section 10.414 of our city code does not just protect the decibel level, it protects our peace, health, and safety, and we strongly believe this noise is a violation of our right to the quiet enjoyment of our property, and more importantly, it is a threat to our health. This is not just a noise, it is a biological stressor as documented in our petition. These frequencies trigger fight or flight responses, causing chronic headaches and cardiovascular risk. It prevents restorative sleep and creates permanent hearing damage for our children and elderly neighbors. I'm currently pregnant and the stress this is causing is not good for me or my baby. Every morning before 8:30, I find myself stressing and dreading the moment that sound kicks in. It has reached a point where I suffer frequent headaches, and my children often don't even want to go outside to play because the sound is so intrusive. My husband is an active duty sailor. He works 12-hour graveyard shifts and comes home in the morning needing to rest so he can safely perform his duties. Because of this noise, he cannot sleep. Our home is no longer a refuge for him. We also have elderly veterans on Eagle Drive who have served this country and now find themselves unable to find peace in their own living rooms. When a sound is plainly audible inside a home and prevents a service member from resting from a 12-hour shift, that is his definition of an unreasonable disturbance. We're handing you a petition today from the residents of Eagle Drive. We're not asking for this business to shut down. We are asking that the city look further into this and require the business to baffle, repair, or move this equipment to another part of their building where it does not destroy the quality of life of the people next door. We ask the city to look beyond a simple meter reading and recognize the impact of the 25-foot rule and restore the peace that our veterans, our active duty military, and our families have earned. Thank you.
And point of clarification, what is the noise? I
Yeah.
missed that part.
It's, we're not sure. Last time they came and checked, they said it was like something coming from like an electrical box or something.
Okay.
But it's just like super high pitched and it's just going out throughout the whole day.
Is it the shopping center behind your house or coming from another home?
It's the shopping, well, it's like a building and it has like many shopping centers.
Like
in
Anytime
there.
Fitness?
Yes,
Hummus,
it's the Eagle Drive by
up on the map.
19th Street.
Yeah.
There's like a I think there's a spa, there's a dentist
Okay.
area, the fitness, and I think some other ones
Right,
behind there.
and the
Yeah.
noise is coming from that facility?
Yeah, so my house is the one that's right next to that
Oh, close.
machine.
I
Our
see,
yard is
yeah.
like, like if you step out of our fence, we might be just like 6 foot, like 6
You
feet away
back up
from
right
like.
to the building?
Yeah, so it's
Okay.
in our yard like the whole day. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Did you give the petition to somebody?
Yes, I handed it to
Okay,
the city.
great.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank
Thank
you. And just as a reminder, we did ask a follow-up question just to get some clarification, but we're not permitted to really ask questions because these were not items that were on the agenda. Others may have wanted to come and participate if they knew it was going to be on the agenda. So we're going to be able to listen and not really respond. However, I'll be happy to stay around after the meeting, and I'll be glad to come out there and talk to anybody. But from up here, we can't respond. The next 3 items is a Matthew Patterson.
Okay. Hello, City Council. My name is Matthew Patterson. I go by Tyler. I'm the owner of the Taco Casa in Moore. Recognize my cup over here that the mayor has, and we've been proudly serving Moore for about 9 years now, and we love being in Moore. We try being good stewards as best we can. We give money away for fundraisers or you name it. We don't even have a button for the discount. We just give it away. Okay, softball teams, football teams, baseball teams, we give it away. It's good business, and we like being good stewards to the city of Moore. And when I first got in the restaurant business 10 years ago, I had no idea. I knew I was going to be competing with, the Taco Bells or other fast food Mexicans, and that's all fair game. And I had no idea that I'd be competing with the city of Moore, basically, to possibly shut me down. And what I'd like to talk about is the removal of the light at 19th and Riverwalk. And if this change happens and you guys put a median on 19th and prevent people from turning into Riverwalk, there's not all the signs in the world that are going to save my business, okay? I am in the fast food, convenient business. I'm not in the leisurely steakhouse business, okay? When someone's driving, they need to see me for about 3 seconds before they decide, hey, Taco Casa sounds pretty darn good. It's not going to see a sign with Taco Casa, and I'm going to go down here, go down this access road, and I'm going to come up Riverwalk, and then I'm leaving Taco Casa, and I can't get on 19th. I then have to go down back on the access road and work my way all the way down, I believe it's to 25th, which is a couple, especially if ODOT has their changes. And if that access road, which I believe is going to be a one-way road going south, when someone leaves my Taco Casa, if they want to go west back into Moore, they are going to have to go down Riverwalk, go down the access road, turn right on 25th, go up Telephone Road to get back on 19th to go west. No one's doing it, okay? I don't care if I'm giving out gold, it's not happening. I am in the convenience business, and if you guys put a median right there on 19th and take away the light, it simply puts me out of business. And I love being in Moore. I don't want to go away, but that is not going to be a fast food location anymore if the light is taken away and there's a median right there preventing my customers from coming in. I don't want to go away. All I ask is for some collaboration here with the council. I'd love for you guys to talk to the affected business owners on Riverwalk that are going to be affected, not just Walmart, but Taco Casa, Cafe, or I guess Paris Baguette. There's Hibdon's Tires, there's La Quinta. We are all affected business owners on Riverwalk. I know it sounds real simple on paper to put in a meeting and take away a light, but it's going to put us out of business, and I just ask for some collaboration. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Mike Hunter?
Only right turn only, so you won't be able to turn left off of
Just
19.
state give us your address for the record.
I live at 6808 Northwest 118th in Oklahoma City. My name is Mike Hunter. This is a little bit of an edgy conversation, the discussion of this light on 19th and how it affects my client, who happens to be my wife, Kim. So let me just start with this. So in 2018, I received the nomination of the Republican Party for Attorney General by 274 votes. So I did a little math, and I looked at the population of Cleveland County. I looked at the percentage that the population of Moore represents. So I did some quick math, and that margin in Cleveland County was 1,200 votes. So if my math is correct, the votes I got from the city of Moore are basically about 10 votes short of the 274 that I got to win that race. So I appreciate the support. Back in 2018, I needed every vote I could get. So I'm here as a private attorney. I represent, again, my wife Kim, who owns the tract upon which Mr. Patterson's Taco Casa resides. I'll give you a little bit of history. Back in 1997, my father-in-law, Mike Callahan, who's here, and his daughter Kim surveyed Moore in trying to determine the best location for a Burger King. Back then, there wasn't hardly any development along 19th Street west of I-35. They talked to Stan Drake. Stan said, we're concerned about the exposure that the city has with regard to the floodplain. If you will pay for a floodplain study that gives us comfort that we can develop along 19th, we'll work with you. So I've got a $3,000, actually $3,100 check that was written to Wiley N. Cook and Associates to pay for the flood study. So you've got an anchor tenant here. My wife owns the property, co-owns it. She and her dad discovered it. They paid for the floodplain study. And I regret the fact that everybody wasn't consulted in advance with regard to this project. Now, there's indication from the minutes of your meeting back in October that this was discussed with Walmart, and there was an indication that they had approved it. So I've had several conversations with Walmart corporate. I'll call it a misunderstanding, but as it stands now, Walmart is not in agreement with this change, with this project. So we're looking at options. I need to thank Brooks and his team for looking at options and at least giving us something to think about. Mr. Patterson has indicated that the signage proposal doesn't help. So what we'd like, in order to avoid litigation, I'm not being paid, we'd like to have more time to work with the city to try to look at alternatives. So I'm not saying a long time, but if you all could consider giving us more time to work with you all to look at other alternatives, it would be very much appreciated. Mayor, members of the City Council, thank you for your time this evening very much.
Yes, sir, thank you. And another person signed up to talk about this is Mike Callahan.
Basically, Mike's told you what the story is. We picked that location. We did the work for the city to do it. Right now, if the plan goes through, I live in the southeast of Moore. I come down Broadway to 19th Street and then go over, shop at Walmart, play everything that way. Traffic is terrible on that street. I know that. Everybody knows that. The biggest problem right now, I think, is because 4th Avenue is closed for the bridge. Everybody that lives on the east and south of like 4th Street now is have to come down 19th Street. I think that's going to be alleviated when they get 4th Street open again and people can go that way. But not being able to turn, that whole part of town can no longer turn into Taco Casa or all the other businesses that are on that street. They're building a brand new restaurant 2 doors down from us. they're going to be out of business before they start because people can't get into it. You can't turn left. If you're coming from the east side of town or from the interstate, you have to go down somewhere, maybe Home Depot, and turn around and come back to enter on the right. And that's just, basically you're turning off the business, it boils down to. And that's millions of dollars that have been invested in those streets. And I don't see, every night I go to the Moore Station, not every night, but a couple nights a week for exercise. The traffic is stopped at Broadway and it's lined up continuously all the way to Telephone Road. But it's amazing how fast you can get through there. They've got those lights timed right. You can go, I've stopped there and you can go almost all the way through with no stops because they've got the lights set right. So I'm at a loss to understand how they could possibly do this to all these businesses. And thank you for your attention.
Yes, sir. What was your address?
Thank you.
Could you give me your address?
824 Belmar Boulevard. I live in Belmar.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
For your comments. And then the next group is in reference to the animal shelter. Again, just state your name and address, and you'll have 5 minutes to speak. First person I have, and you'll have to help me, 'cause I can't read all of the writing, but the last name is Dyer. Dryer, yes.
Mayor and Council. My name is Martina Dreyer, and I live at 524 Southwest 3rd Street. I've seen the videotaping of the last council meeting, and I was very surprised about voices being raised against the Moore Animal Shelter. I work a lot with the Oklahoma City shelter, and I know there's a lot of problems, but I was not aware about the problems at the Moore shelter. I cannot 100% agree with the statements that they made because the experience that I had with the shelter was mostly on a positive note. They were very helpful whenever I had to go there. They have a lady there that is very well connected with Facebook posts. When I had the dog go on a stroll and connecting the ones who've seen them, so they have been very helpful in my case with bringing owners and lost dogs together. Now hearing the problems about that the Moore shelter is also or has a high euthanization rate, that surprised me. I'm not advocating for euthanization, and I know it cannot be 100% prevented. But what I would like to make aware of is everybody is complaining about the shelters, that they kill dogs, that they are overcrowded, and the people are angry and stressed. But I would like to point out that also it is a user-made problem because the shelter does not want to have all these dogs. Mm-hmm. So where do these dogs come from? They come from irresponsible owners who just get dogs and are not prepared for the responsibilities, for owners who just buy them out of impulse buy or get them from impulse buy or don't even know where to get, or they get the dog from the internet and then this dog gives a lot of problem because it has mental problems and is ill and all these things. So in order to help the shelter lower the euthanization rate, we should make the citizen more aware of the problem that they are causing the problem. We need to have some education. I do not know where to address it from. I'm a rescuer. I pull dogs from shelters, and we are all stressed out. But in order to prevent this overload of animals, we need to start at the beginning of the problem. Stop the overproduction of animals. I work with some people with the Oklahoma City shelter. We have spoken with them a week ago. What I basically want to bring up is, instead of spending funds on fancy, or lots of funds on fancy shelters, new shelters, I mean, this new shelter this was necessary, yes, but couldn't there be some funds set aside for educating the population? Funds for spay and neuter. Lots of people, they want to keep their dogs, but they don't have the money for spay and neuter. As Mickey Collins, he has passed a bill for a spay neuter fund in Oklahoma City, a representative, House representative. So if there's something like this that could be initiated, or educating the people what to do with the dog. And you cannot just buy a dog like a radio and then turn it on or turn it off. That they know about the responsibilities. And so that is basically my wish, that we could stop the overproduction and find a way how to find the funds to address this problem, because if we have less dogs bringing into the shelter, then the shelter would not have all these problems, and also the operation costs would be much lower. So everybody would benefit, plus all the cruelty and all the suffering would also be
30
much more
seconds, please.
So, thank you.
All right, thank you. Good comments. Heather Boss?
Hi, good evening. My name is Heather Boss, and I live at 3400 Elmo Way in Ward 3. First of all, I came to talk about the shelter, but I just want to say that if Taco Casa doesn't have easy access, my children are going to be very disappointed. They love Taco Casa. We eat there a lot, so yes, love it. They're going to be excited. But I'm here. Some of you know that I am running for state senate, and I have been talking to a lot of people in the city, and so I'm here to just kind of relay what I've been hearing about this. I was at the opening of the new animal shelter. I appreciate everything that's done there. I've had great interactions with the people there as well myself. So I'm here just basically to speak about transparency, accountability, and public trust, which are essential when public dollars and citizen confidence are at stake. Over the past several weeks, like I said, many residents have reached out to me directly. They've shared deep concern about the Moore Animal Welfare and Adoption Center. The main issues that I keep hearing are persistently high euthanasia rates over many years, the shelter not consistently accepting stray animals, animals dying due to lack of life-saving programs, foster programs, limited collaboration with rescues, and almost no public awareness before euthanizing, and a lack of transparency with outcome data that is hard to access, leaving residents in the dark. I know that this personally. So not long ago, someone had reached out to me about surrendering their dog named Moses. They were told that if they took him to the Moore Animal Shelter, that he would likely be euthanized before he could be rescued. So my husband and I couldn't stand by knowing that this would happen, and we decided that we would go ahead and foster the dog. Well, he stayed with us so long that he became a part of our family, and we've had him for a few years now. And he's now just a part of the family. So stories like Moses are why residents are passionate about this issue. The previous superintendent stepped down earlier this year, and now the city appears poised to promote a longtime second in command to the superintendent position. Well, residents fear that if this happens, they will lose any hope of real progress toward life-saving programs and leadership that prioritizes outcomes for animals and community engagement. Residents are telling me that Moore has responded to public outcry in the past, but as soon as the attention on it fades, things begin to revert to old patterns. And so that is why they're asking for strong, new leaders from the outside of the current shelter staff. Someone who can bring a fresh perspective, a commitment to transparency, and a record of saving lives. The city has received at least a dozen applications that folks are aware of, and yet residents feel like there has been no genuine effort to recruit or even interview qualified candidates. And that is why the number one goal from the community is that the shelter changes its hiring process to include meaningful community input. So something like a hiring committee, public interviews, or clear published criteria would show that this council values accountable and citizen engagement. We're also mindful that the issues here intersect with taxpayer dollars. The shelter operates on over $1 million from the general fund. If the city asks voters to approve additional taxes or bonds in the future, like are set to be on the ballot, citizens deserve to see that current funds are being managed responsibly and that leadership decisions are made with transparency and that their voices are being considered. And finally, the residents point to the broader pattern of the city policy, like repeated votes to deny backyard chickens, as evidence that citizen voices are not always heard, even when those voices are reasonable and lawful. And that is why tonight, the community is asking for clarity, transparency, and inclusion in the hiring process. Taxpayer trust is earned through accountability and action, not just verbal assurances. So before asking more families for more funding, the city must demonstrate that every dollar is being handled responsibly and that leadership decisions are open to public input and that the citizens' voices matters. And for every Moses in our community, that trust can literally mean life or death. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you. Next up is Carrie Kesh.
Hi there. My name is Carrie Austin Kish. I live at 12023 Jadesdale Circle in Oklahoma City. I'm here to talk about the Moore Animal Shelter. I'm here tonight as both a concerned member of this community and as an animal advocate. I'm here to request transparency in the hiring of the next animal shelter superintendent. Your community has spoken. There are more than 30 written complaints on Facebook alone from more residents dealing with concerns about interactions with shelter staff, policies, procedures. I was shocked and deeply disappointed by how citizens have been treated. Citizens whose only goal is to caring about animals and wanting to save lives. In my opinion, new leadership is not optional, it is imperative. Strong leadership requires transparency. This is not just another administrative hire. This is a critical leadership position that directly impacts animal welfare, public trust, and the reputation of our city. Our priority must be to fill this role with a qualified leader who follows proven best practice standards to save lives and promote the welfare and safety of homeless animals, and who is willing to be open with the public about those standards. Our other shelters around are achieving this with fewer resources and smaller staff than Moore. We have those numbers. Those numbers are on Facebook on the Moore Shelter. Those are written on there, the percentages. The Moore Animal Shelter needs leadership willing to reorganize operations, implement proper protocols, and commit to meaningful transparency. That leadership should be selected through a fair and open hiring process, ideally with community representation on the hiring committee. So far, these requests have been denied. People are getting emails answered with copy and paste responses. No updated hiring guidelines have been released. There has been no commitment to broaden the applicant search. Requests for a community hiring committee have been ignored. I actually called myself up to the city and I spoke. I wish I could remember who I spoke with. But I actually had a wonderful candidate in mind that I recommended and gave the name and the number and she has 8 years of experience running a shelter and doing such an amazing job. Just want to note that. Right now, decisions about our shelter's future are being made behind closed doors, and that's not transparency, and it matters. It matters because there are countless homeless animals in our neighborhood right now, struggling to survive and in need of help. It matters because there are currently lives at the Moore shelter waiting for their fate to be decided. It matters because shelter work is emotionally exhausting, and it's incredibly difficult. Staff must be compassionate, properly supported, and guided by leadership that prioritizes humane standards and accountability. Without that leadership, meaningful change will not happen. The superintendent position will determine whether the shelter moves forward or falls back into the same patterns we have been working to correct. We have seen some pretty positive steps lately, and that is because this community's been paying attention and speaking up. This community wants to be a part of this. I hope you can see that. With all the red, this community wants this. However, if this hire occurs without transparency or public input, long-term change is unlikely. Once public attention fades, the system reverts back to the same issues. Talked about that tonight already. I would also respectfully note that asking voters to approve a 1-cent sales tax increase in April, while concerns about the shelter management remain unresolved, raises concerns. More residents are here tonight asking you to hear our concerns and to act. Transparency builds trust. Accountability builds confidence. And our community and our animals deserve both. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next up is Janie Biles.
Hi, Mayor, City Council. I am here, I just lost my speech on my phone, so I'm going to wing it pretty much. I'm here to speak.
Your address real quick.
24430 End of Trail Road, Purcell, Oklahoma.
Okay, thank you.
I'm here to speak again about the animal shelter superintendent position and the lack of transparency or community involvement in that. I also sit on the Lexington Animal Welfare Board, and I can tell you how important communication is. If communication wasn't that big of a deal, none of us would be here tonight. I mean, everybody would just be sitting in their room and making decisions and not asking anyone else questions or benefiting from anyone else's expertise. So I am just here this evening really to implore you to consider forming a committee to help hire, involving the public in this decision, which would foster trust, and it would benefit the city in so many ways, not to mention the animals and the citizens themselves. So, like I said, I'll keep it short and sweet, but I'm really here to ask you to consider doing that. Really appreciate it. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you. Next would be Tarina Fuhrer.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'm going to hit it from a different point of view here because I do sit on the Lexington Animal Shelter.
And give us your address.
714 Southeast 7th Street, Lexington.
Thank you.
So I currently am an animal advocate and currently serve as the vice mayor in Lexington. I am speaking tonight because the situation unfolding in Moore resonates deeply with my own experience in Lexington. While every city's circumstances are unique, the challenges we faced in Lexington bear striking similarities, particularly regarding transparency and the frustration felt by citizens when their voices seem unheard. In our case, meaningful change only began when accountability was enforced. As tensions grew between council members and a progress stalled below community expectations, I made the decision to run for office. Our newly elected council ultimately decided not to renew the manager's contract That was not a personal decision, but a structural one, as our problems extended far beyond the shelter's conditions and the accuracy of information about the animals. The core issue was a mismatch between leadership, policy direction, and what the community expected. When a city invests over $8 million in an animal shelter, the community expects more than just a facility. They expect measurable results, humane policies, and an authentic transparency from leadership. Transparency is essential to building and maintaining public trust. If the hiring process for shelter leadership is conducted behind closed doors without clear standards or community input, many residents will perceive that nothing has truly changed, even if improvements are underway. Visible standards and community engagement signal real progress. So my suggestion from both sides of the position, broaden the candidate search and establish an ad hoc hiring committee that includes professional representation and well-defined selection criteria. Consider forming a community advisory committee to provide structured input and ongoing oversight regarding shelter policy and performance. Publicly release hiring qualifications and process timelines to ensure transparency. These actions do not diminish authority, they reinforce the legitimacy of decisions and the trust of the community. In Lexington, we learned the value of openness. Inviting citizens into the process appropriately leads to increased trust and improved outcomes. Although Lexington's journey is ongoing, our commitment to transparency and accountability has brought significant positive change. The shelter leadership you select now will shape the shelter's culture for years to come. Transparency today will prevent division in the future, and accountability today will help prevent crisis tomorrow. You have the authority to demand both. Please exercise it thoughtfully and openly. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, and I'm sorry on your name. I'm going to do the best I can. Inger? And I'm not going to try say your last name. I'll let you tell us.
I-N-G-E-R.
Thanks for trying. I'm Inger Jufrida, and I just want to say thank you, Mayor, council members, city staff, for hearing these comments. I'm here also to talk about animal welfare, but from a slightly different perspective. I'm the executive director of Wild Care Oklahoma. I have these if you'd like them.
And can you just give us your address?
Yep. It's 3333 24th Avenue Northeast, Norman. And so I'm actually here just to talk about sort of the wildlife aspect. So first of all, what is Wild Care? We are a 501c3 nonprofit based in Noble that serves the whole entire state of Oklahoma. We do wildlife rescue, rehabilitation, and conservation education. And due to the amount of animals that we intake, which is close to 10,000 animals a year, we're one of the largest centers of our kind in the United States. And in addition to taking in animals that have been injured, wildlife that has been injured or ill or orphaned, we also manage a help desk where we last year handled over 42,000 calls, Oklahomans calling in, trying to find ways to humanely resolve conflicts that they're having with wildlife. And that's the primary reason that I'm here today. We do a lot of other stuff. We do research, education, advocacy. We have the only wildlife veterinary clinic in the state, and one of the only ones in the center of the country. And so we have a lot of expertise, we have a lot of data, we see a lot of animals, and we help a lot of Oklahomans. But again, our focus is on wildlife and then other animals that are confiscated by law enforcement. Why I'm here is about a month ago, I received a panic phone call from a member from Moore that had heard that the shelter had taken in a beaver, and they planned to exterminate it and wanted to collect the head and the tail. I don't really know all the details that happened there, but that led me to some inquiry, finding out that in fact, when there are wildlife conflicts in this city, that they tend to be dealt with through a contract with USDA Wildlife Services. And they are the extermination arm of the United States government. They have a horrible reputation. They have gone way outside their mission in terms of what they're supposed to do in terms of managing wildlife. And the reason that I'm here, again, I'm trying to understand that contract. I've requested information about that. The reason that I'm here is just to present to you all that there is another option. We are there as a resource. We help people learn to coexist humanely with wildlife. If there is a beaver that people don't want there, we will work with them to figure out why they don't want that beaver there. You know, it's interesting that here we are on the eve of wildfires encroaching across our state. And you know, if we let beaver do what beaver does, we would have so much less wildfire to worry about, because wherever they are, they re-engineer the land and make it wildfire resistant. They purify the water, they create whole ecosystems. But because we're afraid of them chewing down an ornamental tree or whatever, we want them gone. And the thing that's really sad about that is that there are alternatives. And we know what those are. The same with like a coyote in the neighborhood or skunks underneath someone's shed. All of those things can be mitigated in a way that is humane for the animal and for the people involved. People don't want to see wildlife killed for the most part, unless there's something wrong with them, right? I mean, they want to coexist with wildlife humanely, and we can help do that. So again, this is a little adjacent to all of the conversation that has been happening about the shelter. I have been asked by several people in your community to come and address. I've actually been to another city council meeting just to try to understand what's going on. But I do want you to understand that we are a resource here for more and all communities in Oklahoma, because we do believe that people can learn about wildlife, their natural behaviors, and how, again, to coexist humanely with them. So with that, please take that information. Our contact is there. We are open 365 days a year. During emergencies, we answer the phone 24 hours a day. We help mitigate even a lot of cat and dog issues, farmed animal issues. We take in maltreated exotics, which is one of the reasons we have so many animals at our center. But we are there as a resource to help people and animals. So I just wanted to let you know about that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Is that the organization, I think somebody named Rondi worked there?
Rondi is our founder, yes.
Yeah.
And I actually took over from her in 2019, so yeah.
Well,
Yep.
I worked for the sheriff's office for 18 years, and took a few animals out there myself when I was on
great.
patrol, and yes, they always took the animals and rehabilitated them.
That's right.
And got them back to their home. Thank you for your
Right.
comments tonight.
That's right. Yeah, you bet. Thank you.
And the last one that I have is Becca Bean.
Hi, my name is Becca Bean. I live in Norman. My address is 1116 Cadell Lane. I'm going to start my timer, but I hope not to use all my time. About 11 years ago, my first entry into animal welfare in Oklahoma started when I saw a very innocuous Facebook post of a pregnant mama dog, and it said, "Due any minute at the Norman shelter. Come save this dog. We need a foster." So I rushed down to the animal welfare center there in Norman, and I said, "Well, I'd like to foster this dog." And they said, "Great, what organization are you with?" And I said, "Well, I'm not with an organization, but I'm happy to sign any paperwork you have." And they said, "Well, we don't have a foster program." Well, I tried not to faint on the spot that the third largest city in Oklahoma didn't have a foster program. So I was able to take the dog in and eventually started asking questions and finding out why, when our physical facility was set to triple in size, did we have no new programs, no new staff hired, no increase in our budget. We were going to have more animals than we could possibly deal with. And the mayor at that time went ahead and put me on our animal shelter oversight committee, and we've been able to see through so many positive changes. For example, speaking of wild care, Norman, whenever we took in wildlife in the past, euthanized 100% in a very cruel gas chamber. Now we send 100% of our wildlife for free over to wild care. They just take them and help them. So with new leadership came incredibly important, meaningful changes. And our city now is saving animals at the national no-kill rate. In 2021, nearly 65% of voters in your community voted for a new facility. And it wasn't just for a big, beautiful new building, which you have. It's very envious. It was about trust. It was about outcomes. And it was about believing that more could do better. And right now, that trust is fragile. And you all have an opportunity to do something about that. But when we look at the numbers, the data is there, and we see large numbers of euthanasias on certain days. We see that overall, the shelter is not performing like other shelters in the metro who have a lot less support and maybe have a lot higher intake. The question isn't if more can improve. The question is whether or not you all will bring in the leadership that will actually make the changes, because leadership drives outcomes. Everything changed in Norman when our leadership changed. In 2025, if we look at Norman's numbers, we took in 2,000 more animals than Moore did, but Moore euthanized, guess how many more? 100 more animals were euthanized, even though your intake was 2,000 animals fewer last year. If Moore continues with the same approach, we should expect the same results. Which brings me to a larger concern, and that is of public trust. And that's been mentioned here quite a few times tonight, transparency and trust. If the public sees the maintaining of the status quo, if transparency does not happen with this hire, if sweeping improvements aren't made, how can a city ask for support for that 1% sales tax or for whatever is on your future agenda, these meaningful improvements for your community? We cannot separate trust from results, and the data doesn't lie. The good news is this is your moment. This is your moment to act. This is your moment to rebuild the trust. You can do that by making sure that this hiring process is truly focused on finding the strongest candidate with a track record of improving outcomes, building programs, and moving teams forward in meaningful ways, not just maintaining what you already have. This decision matters. It will determine whether that 65% sees real progress or disappointment. I truly believe that every single person in this room, on this dais, wants to see good things for this community. So tonight I'm asking for you to commit in your heart and mind to take that step. I know I only have 29 seconds, I'll wrap it up. Choose leadership that restores trust. Choose a leader with a direction this community can believe in. Choose leadership that improves outcomes. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. That's all that I have signed up. Did I miss anybody? Okay. The next item under new business is B, items from City Council trustees. Anybody? Item C, item from the City Trust Manager.
Mayor and council and the people in the audience tonight did have a meeting with Dennis Bothell this afternoon. We are reviewing the standards for the animal shelter and changing those as needed. I think the concern that once everybody goes home that we're just going to revert back to the way things were being done, I think that's unfounded. That's not what I intend to have happen. I know that's not what Mr. Bothell intends to have happen. And we do have some good candidates, and we are scheduling interviews that will occur in a couple of weeks. And so if the right candidate is in that pool, great. We will make a hire. And if not, we will continue to reach out and try and find the right person. So we are serious about this, and we are making progress. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And item 19 would be adjournment.
So move.
Second.
Would you call the roll?
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Sid Porter,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Rob Clark,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, and we're adjourned. Thanks, everyone, for being here.